Right. Hello, my lovelies. Now, welcome to the promised restoration video of the cabinet. So this is what we started with. It had been stored in someone's garage for years. I think they had originally started to look at doing it. It had some masking tape on the glass and things. It was filthy. It was badly, scratched up and chipped and in a bit of a sorry state. And the back had had some water damage and was damp and a bit mouldy. In the end, we actually discarded. We took the back off and discarded it, and we actually took everything apart. We took everything off and we took everything apart, and on possibly the coldest weather we have ever had since we moved to Cornwall, I was outside stripping paint off of each section. Now you'll see me gearing up here. First of all, I'm putting on my compression gloves that I wear for my arthritis. And then I'm using my wrist splint. I started off just with one wrist splint, and in the end had two wrist splints on after a while, because my hand, I was doing something with both hands and they both wrists got sore. This particular wrist splint, I have a few different types for when I'm doing different things. This particular wrist splint also includes a splint for my thumb, because my thumb also dislocates when I'm holding things. So this one, you see it's got this little wraparound bit, so it wraps around my hand like that, and then I've got a wrap around my thumb, and a part of the metal splint goes up my thumb, and that holds that in place. Then, because as I say, it was actually minus 0 the week that I started, which is unbelievably unusual for us in Cornwall, but it just so happened that that's when it fell. It was January, and it was it was below minus. So I've got about 4 layers of clothes on, and but I didn't want to put a coat on because I didn't want the restriction of it. So I've got thermals and everything under there. I've got my woolly gloves on, and then my fingerless gloves. So I was well wrapped up. And then what I was doing over the course of the next few weeks, and this literally took me weeks, was with a heat gun that I'd borrowed from my friend Becky. I was just gradually taking a section out, a door, a panel, and using the heat gun to take to heat the bubble up the paint, and then scraping it off. And as I was doing each section, I would then pass it on to Stuart, who would then sand each section, but I don't have footage of Stuart sanding each section. But yeah, that we kind of had a bit of a conveyor belt going, and we got into a bit of a routine of it. But it did take weeks to do this, and of course, at all times I was watched. Once again, we have our little sentinel. She's keeping a really good watch because we've had an imposter cat in the garden, and so she's having to make sure that Mama does not get dealt with by the imposter cat, because you never know. I might run away with the imposter cat. You just never know. But she's gorgeous. Hello, fingers. Yeah, but you're not an outside cat. No. Okay, now we have both girls. We've got Albia too, but she just likes to keep a wee bit back. Doesn't want to get too close to the door, because just in case it opens, and the outside is very scary. Hey! Right, enough cat nonsense. Let's get on with things. Okay, so I've got the handles off the cupboard, and we're pretty sure that they're Bakelite. And so I looked up how to clean Bakelite. So these have been sitting just in soapy water for a couple of days, and you can see the water is so scuzzy. I mean, they were disgusting. So I'm going to drain that off, and I'm going to give them a little rinse. And then I'm going to make more warm soapy water. Basically, because with Bakelite it can get quite fragile over time. It can get a bit brittle, so we don't want to do anything too harsh with it. Excellent, look at that, it's just like lifting off now. So we don't want to clean it too harshly with acids or anything. So the suggestion was literally just to use warm soapy water. And some of the suggestions were things like, once you've done that, you can shine Bakelite up with Brasso. But I actually don't think I'm going to need to do that, because look, it's coming up really nice. The dirt is just lifted away, no problem, because I really want to put these same handles back on. And I want to put them on nice and clean. So let's have a look. Let's rinse this one off. There we go. That's come up really clean already. Excellent. Let's carry on and do the rest. Okay, so we've got some clean and dry handles. Taking off any bits of chipped paint or anything. Unfortunately, my nails did not survive terribly well, but never mind. Now, they have come up a little bit matte. So I think what I might do is try the Brasso trick, but I don't have any in at the moment, so I'll need to get some tomorrow when I go to the shops. When we were taking the handles off, we had one casualty, so we're going to get some super glue, and we should be able to put that back together, and then we'll shine them up with some Brasso. Oh, thank you, darling. As that, Stuart is now going to attempt the fix on the handle.
Off screen.
Off screen, because he's got his hands up too high. Excellent. So you put in a bit of tape to tape them together to hold them in place.
Yep.
And throwing the glue on the floor. What are you looking for? It is. This is the stuff that people are here for. There we go. Is this just super glue? It's just a one part.
It's just not
an epoxy or anything.
No, not an epoxy. Just an all-purpose super glue.
And then you hold it, you've just put it out of screen, darling. There we go. And you close the tape over to hold it together while it's drying.
Yes. And then, worst case scenario, we just need to scrape the tape off.
Yep. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Yes, don't super glue the spoon to the towel.
And then what I'll do is when it is dry and we scrape it, I'll get a little bit of a stiff tape to put on the back, just to provide a little extra support.
That's a good idea. And I thought we could put that handle back on somewhere where it's not high usage.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I did get some Brasso. By the way, Brasso's changed. And back when I last remember using Brasso, you had to smear it on and then rub it off with a cloth. Now it comes sort of in an impregnated cloth. Very strange. That threw me for a loop. Shows you how long it is since I actually cleaned anything metal. But yes, so it's just Brasso. I don't know what you would get elsewhere. It's just a metal cleaner, and it brought them up okay. It didn't make a huge difference, I have to admit, but I think it was still worth doing. It's a hive of industry in here today.
Sorry?
I said it's a hive of industry in here today. Stuart is undercoating the carcass because it's been all the main paint scraped off and the inner shelves have been keyed and the uprights have all been keyed, so that's the second coat of primer you're putting on?
Yep, that's that.
Excellent. So we're well underway, and I'm just going back out into the garden to do more paint stripping on the doors. Teamwork. Hey, we're getting the backs on, and we're getting the second coat of anti-mold paint on. I'm being very careful how I film this so that we don't get builder's bum. Oh, bless you, he's put it away. It's coming on really well, so the inside is all completely glossed, and we've put the wallpaper on the inside. Once he's done the back, we can put it back into position, finish sanding the facade, and to get the drips from the primer off and finish glossing that. So we're getting there. So, excuse my voice because I've got a cold. This is the last door getting its three coats of paint. And this funny sticking up bit is the ironing board. And we will deal with that later. But it's looking good because that jack just goes on there. And it's got the cupboard behind, pull out ironing board. For some reason this was the only bit that we didn't dismantle to paint, which would have been useful, but here we go, just about finished. So this is how well the hardware came up. It came up absolutely beautifully. It's really difficult to show you, but what a shine I managed to get on it. Obviously, there's the odd bump and scratch on them, but I just think that gives them character. They came up absolutely beautifully, and I'm so glad we were able to use the original hardware. It makes such a difference. So I'm up here in Scotland editing this video, and I realised that I hadn't actually taken any footage of the finished result, and I have footage of the finished result from before, but I'd deleted it off my phone. So here are some little clips of the unit in use. I think you'll probably recognise this one from my tidying up my sewing corner, crafting in a small space video. So I used the top part for fabrics, and these fabrics are washed, ironed and folded onto pieces of cardboard, and that way all the fabrics in the top there I know are ready for use, and I use hubby's great height when I'm moving things about at the top. So anything in there is ready for use. Obviously in the fold down flap we have the sewing machines. These two little drawers underneath, one has sewing machine accessories and one has sort of filming accessories and things. And we've got the little cupboard at the side of the ironing board, and behind the ironing board rather, and the ironing board coming down. So yeah, there's I've got photos and I've got little snatches of clips, but I very cleverly forgot to actually do a reveal video before I came away on holiday. So this is a bit of a mismatch, but you see it all the time in all my other sewing videos. So, you see it. And if you haven't seen it and this is your first time, well, go and watch my other videos. You'll see it in use. You'll love it. It's great. So that's the cabinet, my lovelies. As I say, that's all the footage that I had. I think I had taken a bit more, but because it was a couple of years ago, I deleted some of it and things. Sorry, the audio quality is not always great because I didn't have microphones and things, and I wanted to kind of give you what I was saying in the moment. But all that aside, that is the renovation or restoration, I should say, of the cabinet. The decision to scrape all the paint off first was made really because the paint that was on had chipped right through to the wood, and I thought even if I sand a bit, it's never going to be smoothed off. It would need to go back to the wood to be totally smooth, and I wanted it to be totally smooth. So I'm really, really glad that I took the time and effort to do that. It was absolutely worth it. Yes, it made a lot more work. It made the project take a lot longer, but it was 100% worth it for the final look of the smoothness of the cabinets and how beautifully they've come up. As I say, I mean, it was Stuart bought me it as an anniversary present for our 25th wedding anniversary, and I love it so much. I love it so much, and I'm really happy with the restoration job we did on it. That's not something that we've done a lot of, actually, and I'm really proud of the fact that we were able to keep the original handles, keep the original metal work, all that kind of thing, because I felt that was really important, because what I was wanting to do was restore it, not make it something new. I wanted it to be what it was, which was, you know, a 1950s, 60s kitchen cabinet. I didn't want it to look new. I wanted it to look restored, and I think that's what we've achieved. So I'm absolutely delighted with it. I will continue using it. It will continue to have a very, very special place in our lives as things go forward. In this house, well, not this house because I'm on holiday, in the house we're currently living in, it's my sewing cabinet and used for that. Who knows, in other houses it may be used for other things. It may even one day actually be used in a kitchen again. Who knows? But I can tell you this much: Stuart is going to have to cart it with us wherever we go, because I am never ever getting rid of it, because I love it way too much. Eventually I will get round to actually properly covering the ironing board. That's the last thing that I still have to do. I might do that as a video, because that might actually make me do it. All I want to do is put heat padding on it, because at the moment I use a wool pad with just a bit of fabric over it, and it slips about and it's a bit annoying. So I want to put a pad on it, actually either staple gunned or glued or whatever in place, cover it with proper foam and fabric to make it like much more functional and not slipping about when I'm trying to use it. So that's the very last thing that needs done on it, and I will get round to it eventually. You never know, and you guys might be able to hold me accountable, which would be wonderful. So that's it. As I say, I'm still on holiday, but this is our last day. By the time, this is our last day, and this is going out tonight. Next week's video I will catch you up on our trip, which has been really lovely. It's been restful but also lovely, and that's it from me for this week. So as usual this week, I want to know how you've been using your spoons. What lovely things have you been up to? Have you been able to do something that's made you happy this week? I want to hear about anything that's made you happy, whether it's a craft project or spending time with family. I love to hear it, because I think the more we talk about what's making us happy, the better, because it brings it back to our minds all the time that there are things to be happy about. I mean, obviously I know that there's many of you going through struggles, we all are, but really we want to be thinking about what's making us happy. And if we haven't done anything that makes us happy this week, well, go on and do something that makes you happy, even if it's just from your chair. Do something that makes you happy. I'm telling you, Auntie Liz is telling you, go and do something that makes you happy. You heard it from me. And that's it for now. I hope that you and your loved ones are as safe and well as can be expected, and I will see you all next week. Love from Liz.